Welcome to the Rise of the Trades podcast, the show dedicated to helping you to build, grow, and scale your trades or construction business. All rise for your host, Craig Wilkinson.
Welcome to this week's coaching episode of the Rise of the Trades podcast, where we help trades and construction business owners to skyrocket leads, explode net profits without having to graft 60 hours a week and becoming that busy fool. In this episode, I'm going to be teaching you why it's absolutely essential for you to become a content creator and a salesperson before you're actually the tradesperson and get the tools out of the van. Because in today's day and age, you are never going to grow and scale your business if you don't master content and sales. But before we go there, I'd just like to ask you a quick favour. And that is, could I please ask you to consider hitting either the follow or the subscribe button to whatever channel you're listening to this podcast episode on right now. The more people that follow the channel, the more the algorithm is going to push our episodes out, and the more tradesmen and women we can help moving forward. Now, let's transition over to this week's coaching episode. This episode is designed to ruffle some feathers and get you to step outside of your comfort zone. But listen, you need to hear it, because here's the truth that nobody in the trades wants to admit. If you want to grow a real business, if you want more leads, more profit and more freedom, you must first learn to become a content creator and a salesperson before you can become the tradesperson. In other words, before you or your team can get the tools out of the van, you first of all have got to have created some content to generate the lead, and then to convert the lead at a higher conversion rate, so you're winning more of them additional leads. You've got to learn how to sell and become a salesperson. Now, before you switch off and start telling me, Craig, listen, I don't want to become one of them freaking bloody influencers and them social media influencers creating all this content, just hear me out, right? Because right now, if you're like most of the trades business owners that I meet literally every single week, you are stuck in the same painful cycle, which is this. You're grafting your arse off day in and day out. You've got no consistency of work coming in. One week the phone's ringing, the next week it's silent. It's like feast or famine some months. You're relying too much on recommendations. You post the odd before, during and after picture on Facebook, praying that somebody sees it and generates an avalanche of leads. You go out and you're doing your quotes, but you don't convert nowhere near as many as you should do, because you've got no idea of how a sales process works. And even when the leads do come in, you're converting them at a low percentage or a low conversion rate. And it's the same for every single trades business out there. You're great at what you do on the tools, and no doubt you can do the job that you do, whether you're a plumber, plasterer, roofer, joiner, sparky, tiler. You can do the job inside out, but come on. If we're going to build, grow and scale our business, we got to be creating better quality content to generate more leads coming in. And then surely we've got to learn how to convert those leads into a sale, or otherwise we're never going to grow as business. The content that you are creating, as much or as little as you are right now, and the way in which your sales process works has brought you to where you are now. But let's face it, you've only got 168 hours in a week. So if you're already busy, how are you supposed to grow your business? Where are all the additional leads and sales going to come from? Because you haven't got enough time in a week to create all this content and do all this sales. So something has to change. And what needs to change is your mindset around content creation and sales. Because it's a fact. If you're creating the right type of content and that content is being put in front of the right target market, and you bring those leads into a vetted sales process and you know how to convert and sell, then clearly you're going to generate more work for no additional time. You just need to tweak and change what it is you're doing now and change your approach. Now, I've coached over 30,000 trades business owners, and I can tell you now, the ones who explode their business, the ones who triple the revenue and the profits and the turnover without having to graft any additional hours, right? They've all got one thing in common. They master marketing and master sales. Then they deliver their trade skills to get to do the work, but they don't deliver the trade skills to get the work. So in this episode, I'm going to be breaking down properly the exact strategy that you need to implement into your business. So you know how I roll with these episodes. I want you to grab your notepad, your pen, your tablets. Let's start making some notes and let's get stuck in. Chapter 1, why you must become a content creator. Right, let's talk about this whole content creator thing, because some of you listening right now will be thinking it sounds a bit cheesy, or it's not for you, or you don't want to shoot videos or create too much content and start sharing it across social media. But let me tell you something. In today's modern digital age, content creators win, tradesmen who hide are going to lose. You see, you could be the best plumber, electrician, joiner, roofer, plasterer, tiler, scaffolder in your town or city. But if people don't see you, if people don't hear from you, if you're not showing up on their phones every day, then to the world, you simply don't exist. Your customers and clients buy from businesses that they see, that the people that they can trust, that they hear from. They remember the people who've educated them. They choose the tradesmen who look the experts and look the business. And how do you become an expert in your town or city? You do it by showing up. You do it by speaking. You do it by teaching. You do it by sharing content. You do it by recording videos. You do it by posting social media posts across Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, X, Threads. And this is why I'm constantly saying that your personal branding and your business branding is so important to your business. Because if we've got the right business brand and your personal brand, i.e. you're all over your content, people are going to get to know you, like you, trust you. And when we hit them 3 emotional triggers in marketing, that equals the 4th one, which is confidence. And when people have got enough confidence in you and your business that you can solve the problem that they've got, that generally means a new vetted lead. And you know what? Business can be so unfair at times. And what I mean by this is you could have been established in your business for 20 years, right? Yet the person or the competitor down the road has been set up for 2 years. You could offer a far superior service than what they can offer. You've got better members of team and highly skilled tradesmen and women working for you where they're using semi-skilled labour. You could have better guarantees on work than what they've got. But none of that actually matters in today's day and age, because you're not in competition with the other person down the road. What you're in competition with are the tradesmen that may not be as experienced as you, not have a better guarantee, have semi-skilled labour working for you, but they're all over social media. They're all over the marketing. They're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Google, YouTube. And they're the ones that are getting all the attention. They're getting all the views. They're the ones that are building trust. They're the ones that are generating leads. They're the ones that are winning all the jobs. And they're the ones that are taking all the profit off your table. So what I'm saying is, yes, we want you to be the dogs in terms of experience and quality of product and service and branding and all that lot. We want you to be the best. But if people are out there now that are nowhere near as good as you, but are absolutely smashing this content marketing and creation malarkey that I'm talking about, they're going to mop it all up, leaving you really frustrated because you've been in business fucking 5-10 years longer than them. You're the one with all the knowledge and experience, but they're the ones that are nicking all the work. Why? Because they've mastered content creation. You see, now it's not just about how good you are on the tools. Now it's about how good you are at marketing your business and creating the right content for the right target market. And the ones that are doing that, rightly or wrongly, they are going to absolutely milk it and mop up, leaving you playing second fiddle to some new kid on the block just because they're prepared to step outside their comfort zone and do what you're not prepared to do when it comes to content creation. Now listen, I'm 55 years old, right? So I'm not a young new kid on the block. When I first set up my joinery business back in 1994, the internet didn't even exist. We didn't have websites back in 1994. Social media wasn't even a thing. Video marketing wasn't even a thing. So now, in today's day and age, when we've got all this tools and AI and software to make life so much easier with marketing, it's an absolute crime that in today's day and age, anybody and everybody is not all over it. And the reason why I'm mentioning me, I'm 55-year-old, is, listen, there are people out there right now that are the same age as me. There are people out there that are 10, 15 years younger than me, and I hear it all the time. Craig, I'm not tech savvy. I'm not into all this computer stuff. I don't like being on videos. I hate the sound of my own voice. My mates are going to take the piss out of me if I do a video. I don't know how to build a high converting website. I don't understand these landing pages and blogs and vlogs and lead magnets that you talk about, Craig, all the time. Well, fucking hell, neither did I. I didn't know any of this, but I knew that if I didn't move with the times, and if I didn't get stuck into all this and learn it myself, that I'm going to get left behind. And what you've got to remember is this. Every 5 years, every decade that goes past, 5-10 years that goes past, we've got a new generation, a new breed of people setting up trades businesses. And what we have to understand is most of, let's say, the 20-year-olds that are setting businesses up now, they've been brought up with mobile phones in their hand. Some of these, younger generation have had iPads all their life. So when it comes to shooting videos and doing social media and doing all this digital stuff, that's absolutely not going to take them outside their comfort zone because that's what they've been brought up doing. Are you with me? But people of my generation, maybe in the 40s, 50s, especially in the 60s, you're going to look at this and go, oh, fucking hell, I've managed up to now without needing all that, Craig. So I'll just keep trying to grow my business the way in which I've been doing it, with a crappy website. I've got a Facebook business page. I'm putting the odd social media post out. I'm relying on word of mouth and referrals and recommendations. if you're convincing yourself that that's going to grow your business in today's day and age when we've got things like AI on the scene now, you are absolutely mistaken. So you've got to embrace this content creation culture. It's not a fad. It's not a flash in the pan. It's not the new trend. It's here to stay. And it's only getting quicker and faster and speeding up with the likes of AI. It's like every week you see new AI tools coming out on the scenes. You know, a couple of years ago when I first got into ChatGPT, that were about it. But now you go on Facebook and every flipping ad that's on Facebook's for some kind of AI tool. So if you don't jump on the wave now, you're going to get left miles behind. So in this chapter, I'm going to share with you 5 top pieces of content that you need to be creating every single day in your business to give you a head start of everybody else. Now listen, there's a lot more than 5 you can be doing, but I've chosen these because I believe that most people won't be doing them or aren't aware that they should be doing them. I'm going to give you the 5, not in any particular order because they're all as important as each other, but I want you to really get laser focused on making an active daily start on these 5, okay? So grab your notepads, grab your pens, let's get stuck in. Number 1 is your Google My Business profile. Now, I'm still shocked at the amount of businesses that haven't got a Google My Business profile set up. So how can you be getting things like reviews? But even if you've got one set up and you're just literally using it to gather 5-star reviews, which of course you need, you're not using the Google My Business profile to its absolute maximum potential. Now, when the Google My Business profile first came out years ago, it was heavily weighted towards people gaining credibility and authority by getting reviews. But as social media platforms such as, let's say, Facebook and LinkedIn, Instagram have taken off, Google have decided, you know what? We want people to start using our Google business profile a little bit more like a social media platform. So just like many of you may well be posting every day on, let's say, Facebook, what you need to start doing is posting every day on your Google My Business profile. Because Google are going to look at your profile and see how active it is. And it's also going to be looking for things like keywords. Because as you know, your website is ranked by Google based on one of the ranking factors, which is the keywords that are used on your website. For example, I'm in Sheffield, I'm a joiner. So if I've got a website, I'd be SEOing my website for joiners in Sheffield or joinery businesses in Sheffield or joinery manufacturers in Sheffield. Are you with me? And that's how Google starts to rank your websites. It's the same with the Google My Business profile. Did you know that on there, not only are we going to use it for collecting reviews, but we can also post onto there every day. We can post images onto it. We can post videos onto it. We can share our blog articles onto it as examples. And because they want you to use it more like a social media platform, they want to encourage you to put content on there every single day. So if you're putting content on social media, you need to start putting it also on your Google My Business profile. Because then Google are going to look at it and see how much activity that you've got on there, and they're going to start ranking you higher. Now, here's just a quick tip when you're using your Google My Business profile. When you're adding an image to it, or a video, or a blog, or whatever it is you're adding to it, you can write in there, you can write a description, just like you can on Facebook. You write a description, you upload a video or an image, and then you click post. It's basically the same on your Google My Business profile. You do the exact same. However, what I want you to consider doing is, when you're writing out the description to accompany the video or the image, make sure that you're getting the keywords inside on the description. So, for example, if I've just manufactured and fitted an 8-kite winding staircase into a loft conversion, and I've took a photograph or a video of that, what I won't do is just post a photo or video. What I'd be saying is, we are a joinery manufacturer based in Sheffield, and we've manufactured this 8-kite winding staircase in this loft conversion in Sheffield. So can you see what I'm doing? I'm getting the keywords into the description that supports the image, video, or blog, so that Google can start to rank me literally from my Google My Business profile. So as well as getting reviews, as well as using your Google My Business profile for your maps, which you should all be ranking for with the Google Map, you need to start using it more like a social media platform, putting your content on there and supporting it with keywords that Google can start to rank you for. The second lot of content that I want you to start to create, and there's no surprises if you know how I coach and you've been to any of my events, you're in Growth Club or you're on my inner circle, you'll know that this, for me, is the most powerful form of marketing known to mankind, and that is video marketing. Now, I hear you because I've said exactly the same myself. And everybody who I coach starts off by saying, Craig, I don't want to shoot videos. Listen, I don't like the way I sound. I've got a dumb Yorkshire accent. I don't like the way I particularly look. I'm not the best looking lad in the world. I've got a big nose and I've got chipped teeth and I've got a greying beard. But have I let them limiting beliefs and self-sabotage stop me from creating video content? Absolutely not. I create video content every single day. Why? Because video marketing is the most powerful form of marketing known to mankind. Because inside a video, you can really connect at a deep level with the person that's watching the video. They can buy into your business. They can buy into you and your personal brand. They get to know, like, and trust you. They can look into the whites of your eyes when you're shooting the video. So, and videos, don't forget, videos are the most viewed piece of content online and on social media. So why wouldn't you be creating video content? Now, there are 4 types of video content I want you to focus on creating, and I'm going to share them with you now, so write these down. Number 1, you must have an introduction video to you and your business. And usually this will sit on your homepage of your website. You then use that introduction video and put it on your landing pages. You can then share that introduction video on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, X. You can share it everywhere. But come on, if we want to get people to know we exist and know what we do, surely we need an introduction video. And not just one. The more you can be introducing your business and letting everybody know who you are, what you do, who's your target market, the products and services that you offer to solve your target market's problems, the more of them types of videos, the more people are going to get to know and like us. Number 2, video testimonials from your happy customers and clients telling the world how amazing you, your business and your team are, how clean, tidy, on time and on budget you and your business is and the services you offer, and telling the world that they need to speak to you. They're actively referring you. We're turning your customers and clients into a sales team. Number 3, how-to videos, right, of you sharing that valuable knowledge and experience that you've got in whatever trade or industry that you are in. It doesn't matter whether you're a joiner like me, plumber, electrician, plasterer, roofer, tiler, it doesn't matter. You've got valuable knowledge. And if we can share that knowledge on a video, then that's going to build more confidence with the people that are watching it that we can solve their problem. So, for example, as a joiner, I might do a video on this is how you hang a door. I could do a video on this is how I fit a window. Are you with me? So what videos could you do where you're sharing your valuable knowledge? And the fourth set of videos I want you to create are what we call short form video reels. Short form video reels. And these are the types of videos that you traditionally see on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube Shorts or Facebook Reels, where they are generally a vertical, a portrait style video of up to 60 seconds or less, where you're sharing some valuable information with your target market. And that could be an introduction to your business. That could be you talking about a video testimonial that's just been left. That could be you showcasing the how-to type of videos, or just talking about things like these are our terms and conditions, just so that we're building more rapport with our potential target market. But they're the four types of videos that every single business needs to be creating at least on a weekly basis, if not more. Content number 3 is social media. Come on, we can't get away from the fact that social media is free. All it does is take you a little bit of time to use it. But when you're using social media, you've got to have the right strategy. And I'm going to give you 5 tips that you need to consider when using social media. And this all forms part of a bigger strategy, but at least let's get the basics right across social media. Because if we're getting the basics wrong, then people aren't going to build that know, like, trust and confidence with us, and therefore they're going to go somewhere else. So these are my 5 tips just around social media. Number 1, what platforms do your target market hang out on in their highest concentration? And what I mean by this is, just because I'm on just about every platform, or your competitors have now moved on to YouTube, you've got to think that you don't have to keep up with the Joneses. Just because everybody else is using every social media platform and you see them doing it, doesn't mean to say that you have got to do that. All you need to be focusing on is identifying who your target market is, and then more importantly, which platform are they hanging out on. And then you start to use that platform and forget about all the rest. Because again, you've only got 168 hours in a week. So if you're not generating leads from social media now, and you're diluting your time trying to put content across 5 platforms, then don't put it across 5. Choose 1 or 2 platforms to start off with where you know your target market are hanging out, and then get laser focused on those 2 platforms. Tip number 2, make sure that you complete your profile or your bios correctly. Because I go on to people's, let's say, personal Facebook, and on their personal Facebook, they've got a profile picture of themselves walking the dog. The banner image at the top is them on the wedding day. And the description that you can have for your bio is, husband, nice guy, joiner by trade, Sheffield United fan. I mean, come on, how on earth is that going to generate you leads off social media? And I'm even talking about your personal profiles. I'm not just talking about your business ones. And again, many of them aren't completed correctly. I'm on about your personal profiles as well. Get a profile picture of you with a smart polo shirt on, with your embroidered logo on, and have that across all of your social media, business and personal. Get the banner image at the top, the cover art at the top, an image of what depicts and demonstrates what you do in your business. If you're a plasterer, right, you want a picture, you're plastering a really nice job. If you're a heating engineer, you want an image of you stood next to a boiler. So instantly, as soon as people see your profile, it's like a website, they know what you do. And for goodness sake, make sure that in any description, whether that be on Facebook or TikTok or LinkedIn, you've got a link to your website or a bio link to a page where they can get more information about your business. And if you want to see what the absolute ultimate perfect profiles are like set up, even my personal one, go and check me out personally on Facebook, Craig Wilkinson. You'll find me, and go and look at how I set my profiles up with the cover image, with my profile picture, with the bio completed correctly that calls out my target market, and with a link in where you can then click that link and go to my websites, my landing pages, Joint Inner Circle, Joint Grove Club, listen to this podcast. It's all there. Number 3, stop selling the services that you offer constantly. You see, all I ever see is people posting constantly about the jobs that they've just done. Might be a before and after picture, or look what I'm working on today. Who cares? The only person that's interested in that is you. And if you've got let's say a Facebook business page, and all you're ever posting on your personal business page is business-related content, that is going to turn people off because they're going to get fed up of seeing the same type of crappy services types of posts. Instead, mix it up with a bit of personality or a bit of personal stuff. And what I mean by this is, try this on a Friday afternoon. Tea time on Friday, put this onto your Facebook business page. What is everybody up to this weekend? What have you all got on? And I guarantee you'll get more interaction on a post like that that's got absolutely nothing to do with your business, even though you're posting it on your business Facebook profile page. Because people are fed up of seeing what you do. They know what you do. They don't want it ramming down the throat. So put something on there that's going to be engaging and spark conversation with your audience to engage that algorithm. Number 4, use all of the features that are on each platform. So for example, we're talking about Facebook here. I see lots of people using the Facebook business page. They might put a couple of posts a week out on the personal page. But come on, what about all the other features that these platforms have? Facebook in particular. You've got Facebook groups. Why haven't you set up a Facebook group and then fill that group with your target market? Like I've got a Facebook group full of my target market so I can build up rapport with people. When was the last time you did a Facebook Live? For me, it was 3 days ago. I'm constantly still doing Facebook Lives. What about using other features on Facebook, like setting up events, right? So there's stories, Facebook Reels. You see, the platform that you're on, whatever it's on, they want you to maximize all of the features that are on the platform. And the more of those features that we can maximize and use, the more eyes we're going to get on our business, and therefore the algorithm is going to kick in and start sharing our content more across our business page, personal page, Facebook stories, Facebook Reels. We're going to get the monopoly. And tip number 5 with social media is this. Mix up the content that you're putting across all of your platforms, business and personal. And put some non-sales content in there. And what I mean by non-sales content is put something in about yourself. Put something in about maybe a family. Put something in about where you've just been for a meal. Put something in about where you've just been on holiday, right? Mix up the content that you're putting out there, because a lot of business owners are constantly bombarding all the feeds, as I've already said, with just business content that starts to turn people off. You will get more interaction and more engagement on non-sales content, like what have you been up to this weekend, than you will do any type of sales content. But social media has to be at the forefront of all your marketing, because you can share your videos on social media. You can share your posts on social media. You can share links back to your website or your funnels or your landing pages on social media. You can share links back to your blog articles on social media. So social media is massive, but you've got to use it right. Content creation number 4 is your website. Now listen, and I mean this, the vast majority, in fact, let me put a percentage on this. I would say 8 out of 10, so 80% of people that come to us for their websites being built and designed and the strategy around websites and SEO, 8 out of 10 people, their websites are useless, honestly. So you've invested time, effort and money into having a website built, yet the website is generating you little or no leads. And you think and you believe that you're going to get to page 1 of Google and get an avalanche of leads coming through, and it doesn't happen. Well, I can tell you why it's not happening. And that's because there are 16 fundamental features that you have to build into a website to turn it into an inquiry generating machine. And if you've only got a handful of these 16 features in, or you're missing, let's say, some of the most important ones, then your website is going to really struggle. It's never going to get found on Google, and it's never going to convert and turn your browsers into buyers. Now, in this episode, I'm not going to go through all of these 16 fundamental features. And the reason being is I've already created a podcast episode where I go into these 16 features in detail. It's an 83-minute in-depth deep dive into how you build websites. So just trust me in the fact that you've got to have the dog's bollocks of websites, right? It's as simple as that. Because on the website, not only are we going to get found on Google because of all the SEO work that gets done correctly to your website, which means when you start hitting page 1 of Google, you're going to start to generate organic leads. It's not only used for that, it's used because things like your videos that we've talked about, whether they're how-to videos or your reels or testimonials, introduction videos, for example, they will all sit on your website. Are you with me? So our website is one of 3 ultimate sales tools. Number 1 is your website, number 2 are landing pages, and number 3 are funnels. So we've got to make sure that we get the website right and it's got these 16 features on. So when we're driving traffic back to your website from social media posts, we've got to make sure that our website's set up to convert. So what I want you to do at the end of this episode, go and check out episode number 16, because it's episode 16 where I give you the strategy around the 16 fundamental features that you need on your website to guarantee turn it into a inquiry generating machine. And content creation number 5, I'm going to be choosing blog articles. Blog articles. Now, the reason why I'm saying you need to be creating blog articles that will then sit on your ultimate sales tool, which is your website. And blog articles, by the way, are one of the 16 features that I've just shared. However, blog articles are a strategy within themselves. Because A blog article is where you're going to write something about a product or a service or a problem that you know that your customer has got that you can solve. And this written text, if you like, is going to sit on your website. It's going to sit on a page on your website, and it's going to have images supporting it. And even better, if you can create a video that supports your blog, then even better. But basically, it's going to be something that you're going to write that is SEO rich with keywords in it. So therefore, Google can easily find that blog article. Let me explain. When we're SEOing a full-blown website, there could be 15 pages that need SEOing on the entire website for it to start ranking on Google. However, if you were to get a blog article and just SEO that blog article to the max for a particular product or service that you offer in your town or city, and then that blog article is indexed correctly with Google, Google are more likely to find that one blog article and start ranking that one blog article than it is waiting for you to rank your entire 15-page website. Are you with me? So let me give you an example. Let's say you're an electrician. I'm just going to use Sheffield because that's where I'm from. If you're an electrician in Sheffield and you do consumer units, fuse boards, fuse boxes, right? You could write a blog article on fuse boxes, fuse boards, consumer units, and you write a blog article all around them with keywords inside. So, it would be an electrician Sheffield or consumer units installation Sheffield. You get where I'm going? All them keywords will be on that blog article, along with images to support it and ideally a video. And then when that goes over to Google, Google index the page, but they're only indexing that one page. Whereas when you're SEOing your website, you're SEOing and indexing 15 pages. Do you get me? So it's so much quicker for Google to index one blog article, and you could get potentially that one blog article showing up on page one of Google within a matter of months. Where with a website, it can take, 3, 6, 9, 12 months to get onto page one. So blog articles, number one, they're easy to rank with Google. Number two, you've got to make sure that on your website you're adding fresh content every month to your website. There's no point in building an all singing and dancing website and then leaving it to go static and nothing happening with it. You've got to be putting content on it every month. Well, if you're creating a blog article or a couple of blog articles a month and you're adding them onto your website, that's sending a signal back to Google telling them that you're adding fresh, SEO-rich content onto your website. Blog articles also builds authority and credibility and trust with your audience. Because think about it, if you're giving valuable knowledge away for free on your website via a blog, and a customer or a potential customer can read an article that solves the problem they've got or gives them some information to allow them to solve the problem, and you are the author of a series of blog articles that are sat on your own website, then that builds authority, credibility, and trust with that potential future customer. Blog articles are great for repurposing content across social media or inside emails or text messages. So once we've put a blog article on our website, we'll then copy the URL to that blog article, and then we'll write a post on, let's say, Facebook or LinkedIn. And then we'll say, if you're interested in reading more about this blog, click this link. Well, when people click the link on LinkedIn or Facebook, once they've clicked the link, where's it driving people back to? It's driving people back to our ultimate sales tool, which is our website. So we're using the blog articles and the URLs, the domain to that blog, to get traffic off social media back to us ultimate sale tool, the website. And then what we'll do when we've written a blog is we will then share that URL in an email to our database saying, listen, we've just launched a new blog article. This is what it's on. This is what it's about. This is what you're going to learn. Click this link and go and read it or watch the video of it. And then they'll go back from our emails. We're driving traffic from our database and our email list back to where? Our ultimate sales tool. And the final benefit of blogs, if you're still sat on the fence, is, listen, it's evergreen content. You create that blog article once, it sits on your website and it can sit there forever. So if I've created a blog article on something like the top 5 ways to generate more leads coming into your trades business, and that's what I've called it, and that's sat on my website, I could send out an email or a social media post today to it, and then I could wait 3 months and then send the same email or a slightly different email and a slightly different worded social media post back to the same blog article because I've created it once, it's value, it's sat on my website, I can then drive traffic back to it whenever I like. Do you get what I'm saying? So for that reason, I'm saying blog articles. So let's just have a recap. Number 1, come on, up your game with your Google My Business profile. Get posts on there and content every day. Number 2, get yourself outside your comfort zone and get shooting video content and sharing the shit out of it absolutely everywhere, like we do. Number 3, social media. Making sure you've got all your social media platforms set up correctly and you're using all the features. Number 4, build a lead generating machine, i.e. your website with the 16 fundamental features that I've given you in episode number 16 of the podcast. And as part of that website, number 5, you're going to start to create blog articles for all the reasons I've just listed. And then you're going to start to share that blog article everywhere to attract people back to you and your business. Now, there are the 5 types of content I want you to start with. But in all honesty, there's another 15 to 20 different types of pieces of content that I could tell you to go away and create. But let's not overwhelm people. Let's just get started with the basics and let's get these right first. Now, I always share with my Growth Club and Inner Circle members, I always say this, you have to be relentless with your marketing, with your content creation. I mean, if you were to look at all of our platforms and all of our videos and all, literally this podcast, if you were to look at everything that we create content-wise, it's like, flipping heck, you create so much content, Craig. You and your team are just on it. Yeah, we are, because we know that if we were to stop it or slow it down, then our leads are going to drop. It's going to have a knock-on effect. If we slow down now on all our marketing for a couple of months, which we can do, because as you all know, we chock-a-block with coaching, we chock-a-block with building websites and funnels and landing pages and rebrands. We chock-a-block with it all the time. But if I were to say to our team, look, let's take us foot off at gas for 2 months, I know that in 2 months' time there'll be a little lull in our work coming in and the business that we're doing, and we don't want to do that. So this is what I keep saying to people: you've got to be relentless with your marketing. It never ever stops. But if you are, I guarantee at this point you will be generating more leads than you've ever generated before. It's very simple. If you want to generate more leads, you've got to do more advertising. The more advertising you do, the more relentless you're with it, the more leads you're going to get. Now, this only solves one of the 2 issues here, because what I've said is you've got to become a content creator, which is what you're doing now. But I also said that you've got to become a salesperson, because what's the point you generating all these extra leads if you aren't going to convert these leads that are coming in? You need to learn some sales tips and techniques. So in the next chapter, we're going to move our attention away from creating content, because I'm going to presume now you're going to be relentless with this. And what we need to turn his attention to now is how do we get and convert more of these leads that are now coming into our business? And that's what we'll cover on the next chapter. Now, we've said that you need to become a better salesperson. And what I mean by this is you are responsible for bringing in the work into your business. Unless you're a bigger outfit and you've got someone who's doing your sales, which we've got some Inner Circle members that have moved to that level now, such as Ryan Forth at the Forthcoming Group. He's now got a salesperson in and his sales have gone through the roof. But what I'm saying is usually you are responsible for sales. Now, over a period of time and experience, you've gone out and you've come up with this pattern or this sales technique or the way in which you're approaching sales. And this usually comes at the point where you're doing the survey, right? So the leads come in and you're now going to do the survey. And what I want you to consider is this. While some of you think, Craig, if I get in front of that customer, usually when I'm in front of them, I can build up a rapport with them and they generally buy from me. And or some of you will be saying, do you know what? I've got the gift of the gab. I'm a happy, chappy, I'm a cheeky chappy type of thing. And I'm really good in front of customers. Well, listen, if I were to ask you to try and sell something to me now, I would absolutely turn you inside out and I'd turn you in knots. And within 30 seconds, rather than you selling to me, I'd be selling to you. And the reason being is, I realised years ago, back in 2013, I realised that, hang on a minute, what is the point of me doing all this marketing? In fact, what is the point of you having a business, investing into all your time and effort into marketing, investing time and effort into having systems, investing time and effort into building a team, for you to go and cock it up by what you're saying or not saying and doing at the right times when it comes to the sales process? And this for me, I'm like, when I learned about all this content creation in 2013, when we got an avalanche of leads coming in, I'm like, I need to convert more of these leads, or otherwise it's a waste of time doing it. So back in 2013, I went and did my first set of sales training. And I say to business owners, what sales training have you had? And they look at me gone out and they go, well, it's just experience. And I'm going, yeah, but that experience is not sales training. That's just things that you've picked up on that you've done wrong in the past. What are all the clever sales techniques that you're using? At what point of the sales process are you using these sales techniques to convert more of those leads that you're coming in? And just about every time they go, Craig, I haven't had any sales. And I'm like, well, what's the point of doing it all then for you to go and cock it up? I mean, the sale right at the very end on whether you're going to get the job or not, that's the final part of the jigsaw. But you're just going to go in winging it, thinking you're good at sales, thinking you're good at getting in front of customers and you can talk them round. Bullshit, you can't. You only bring this certain amount of sales in based on your capability of being a salesperson. And if we don't increase that and we don't improve on that and you don't become a better salesperson, then you're not going to convert nowhere near as many of these leads coming in, which means it's all been a waste of time. Now, I'm not talking about being pushy. I'm not talking about being sleazy. I'm not talking about, getting Mrs. Jones in your van and driving her down to cash machine to get a deposit. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm just talking about doing things slightly different and saying things at different times of that sales process that's going to massively, massively increase your conversion rates. And that's what I'm talking about. Now, when it comes to sales, it's an absolute beast of a strategy that you need to learn. And again, on this podcast episode right now, I can't go through all that. However, what I have done is I've recently recorded another episode, which is the top 7 sales strategies that you need to bring into your business to win more work and become a better salesperson, right? So that is episode number 77. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to go and listen to that, and that's 114 minutes of pure sales gold. Now, what I want you to do is go and listen to it, but I'm not going to use that as a cop-out, right? I'm going to still give you some strategies now. However, you've got 114 minutes of pure gold to go and listen to that will connect all the dots on what I'm about to share with you now. But even what I'm going to share with you now, if you just implemented this is going to make a massive difference to your conversion rate. Never mind once you've listened to episode number 77. So go and check that one out at the end of this episode. So if we're going to sell more, the first thing that you've got to do is you've got to introduce a vetting form. And you've got to start vetting these potential customers and clients that are coming into your business, because let's face it, not everyone is your target market. And what I mean by this is, let's just cut to the chase. Two important things that you need to understand from any customer that's inquiring is, number 1, what's your budget? And number 2, what's your timescales? Now, don't get me wrong, there's a whole host of other questions that you would ask on a vetting form. But if we can understand what it is that they want doing, and we can understand what type of budget they've got, and we can understand the timescales, straight away, we can make a decision whether they are going to be worth us giving up our valuable time to even go and speak to and do a home or site survey. Because you know as well as I do, you will be attracting time wasters and tire kickers, where you're not vetting them, so the lead comes in, you're going out, you're spending half an hour driving to other end of town or your city, you're spending half an hour with that customer, you're then driving another half an hour back, then you're spending, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 5 hours putting a price together, putting proposal, estimate, email together, to then email it them out and then either get completely ghosted, or you ring them up for them that are making the odd follow-up call. You ring them up and they go, oh, you were way expensive. We've gone with someone a lot cheaper. We couldn't afford you. And it's like, fucking hell, I've just wasted 3, 4, 5 hours of my time on that person, and they've not even had decency to contact me. Or I have contacted them and now they're telling me I'm too expensive. Well, listen, who's the fool? Who's the fool there? Who's the busy fool? You. Because had you known what their budget was in the first place, had you known when they wanted it doing, you'd have probably never even gone and looked at the job in the first place. You'd have discounted them right off the bat. So the first thing that you have to bring in is a vetting form. And a vetting form for different products and services. You don't just want one generic vetting form. For example, we've just built 3 vetting forms inside Leadzilla for Morgan Tomlinson, one of our Growth Club members. We've just built his website, and now we've built him his vetting forms. And Morgan is an electrical contractor that does solar installations. But what we've done is we've built him a battery storage only vetting form that's asking questions that he needs, along with asking them to upload photographs of things like where their consumer unit is now, where they want the battery installing, so he can get as much information from that customer about that battery that they're inquiring about to validate whether it's worth speaking to him or not. We then built him a solar panel installation just for the panels vetting form. And then we just built him a third vetting form, which is for battery and solar. Each one of them vetting forms are asking a series of different questions and asking that customer to upload photographs of their, let's say, elevation of the house where they want the roof, where they want the panels fitting, for example. So we've built 3 vetting forms specific for 3 different services that he's offering. Now, when leads come in, he can look at the information, look at the photos, look at the timescales, look at the budget, and he'll probably know straight away whether it's worth his time or not. Do you get what I'm saying? So you have to have vetting forms. Now, here's the thing. For most of you, this is going to be outside your comfort zone because you've not been doing it before and you don't know how to build a vetting form and you don't know what goes into a vetting form. And therefore, because of that, limiting beliefs kick in, and because you're saying to yourself, I'm not computer literate and I don't know how to build them, fuck it, I tell you what, I'll just keep wasting my time and doing what I've done forever. No, you can't do that. If you want to convert more people, you've got to wean out the time wasters and the tire kickers up front, and you do that through a vetting form. Now, I've even got your back with this because, again, I want you to listen to another podcast episode where I've got 107 minutes where I teach you how to build a vetting form, the software to build it in, the questions to ask. And that is episode number 36. But I'm telling you now, even if you just put a vetting form in place without everything else I'm going to share with you, or everything else I'm going to share with you on episode number 77, just putting a vetting form in place, your conversion rate will go up, because you're only going to be dealing with the people that have got the right budgets and the right timescales that suit you and your business. So let's assume you've got a vetting form in place. The next part of the sales process is when that vetted lead comes into your business, ideally it needs to go into some marketing and sales software that's designed and dedicated purely and simply to bring the lead in and then automatically put them into a sales pipeline and funnel that's going to then trigger automations off to that customer. Now, there's loads and loads of marketing and sales software out there in today's day and age. The one that we use and the one that we recommend is called Leadzilla. And if you want a 14-day free trial to Leadzilla, click the link in the show notes and the description of this episode. But what we do is we build out a sales pipeline and a sales funnel in Leadzilla that would deal with that lead coming in. And what it needs to do, as soon as that lead comes in, you must trigger an automated email and an automated text message to that customer confirming a time and a date where you're going to go out and do that survey. And inside that email and text message that gets triggered will be a link to a video. And that video is you thanking that customer for their inquiry and explaining to the customer what is going to happen when you go out and do the survey. In other words, what we're going to do when we come to see you is what? How long's the survey going to take? What rooms do you need to get into? Do you need to get into the loft? Do you need them to clean any cupboards out, like their airing cupboard if you're a heating engineer and you need to get to the cylinders? Once you've done the survey, are you going to give them a price there and then? Are you going to give them a budget price there and then? How long is it going to take you to get back to them with a price? All that lot needs to be in a video that gets triggered as soon as they book an appointment or a survey with you. Because that video, then, number one, it's setting you apart from your competitors because they're not doing this. Number two, it's going to wow the customer because they're not expecting it. Number three, it's an opportunity for you to build more know, like, trust and confidence with that customer. But number four, what you're actually doing by explaining what's going to happen next when you go and do the survey is you're setting your customer's mind at rest of what they need to do and prepare for and what's going to happen at that survey. And of course, if you're doing the surveys, they've already met you on that video. So when you knock on their door, they already know it's you. It's like they've already got a relationship with you. Are you with me? Now, how many people have got that? Not many. Which is why I'm saying, if you bolt things on like this into your sales process, you're straight away going to stand out head and shoulders above all of your competitors. You need that introduction video embedded into emails and texts that automatically get triggered inside that sales funnel that you'll build inside Leadzilla. Now, let me give you some more tips of what you must do at that survey. Whether that's a home survey for domestic customer or a site survey for a commercial customer, perhaps, it's the exact same. What you've got to do is when you knock on their door and you walk in, instead of just going into your usual spiel and your usual babble that you go into with every single customer, you've got to stop yourself. And what you've got to do is the first thing that comes out of your mouth, the first question are these words. And again, I cover all this in episode number 77. But these words are this. Mrs. Jones, what questions would you like me to answer whilst I'm here? What's important to you? And what information do you need from me during this survey? And then you just shut up. Because what comes out of their mouth next is what's important and what questions are significant to that particular customer. Not to the one that you've just been to see or the next one that you've got booked in, for that particular customer. And your job as a salesperson is to make sure that you've answered every single question that's floating around in your customer or client's minds. It's up to you to ask the questions, to extract those questions that they need answering, and then answer them. Because if you just go in and do what I used to do years ago and just babble on about everything, and if you go in thinking like I used to do, well, the more information I give them, the more knowledgeable I'm going to come across. But in all honesty, not every customer needs to know everything. Some customers might have already done the research, so now you're just repeating what they already know. Now you're turning them off and disengaging. Some customers have already got them answers from the two previous companies they've already had out. What your job is to do is find out what answers they need and what information is important to them, and then give them the answers and then shut the hell up, or otherwise you're going to be talking yourself out of a sale. So, for example, if that customer were to say, Craig, yeah, I have got some questions actually. I want to know, how much is it going to be? How long is it going to take? And when can you start? What I would then do is during that survey and the time I'm with that customer, I would give them a budget figure, even if I couldn't give them a bang on price. I'm experienced enough to know that it's going to be between this price and this price. I'd then tell them how long the job's going to take, and then I'd tell them when can we start? Because that's the information that customer needs. What I wouldn't diversify off is then go and start to talk to them about building regulations and planning permission and why we need an architect and why we're in a conservation area. We don't do that because that's not what's important to them. I answer their questions, and then once I've answered them, I'd say, Mrs. Jones, do you have any more questions? And then I shut up. And if she goes, oh yeah, actually, we thought of this, you answer that question, and then you say, have you got any more questions? Are you with me? So instead of you going in and just going blur and talking yourself to death and giving that customer information that they already know or they're not interested in, so now you're not building rapport, you're doing the opposite, you're putting a barrier between you. Your job as a salesperson is to listen and ask questions. Answer the questions, and that is it. Now, let's assume you're on that survey and you've done exactly what I've asked you to do. What you need to do before you leave is either one, give them a price if you can. And when you work with us at the Trades Freedom Club, we can build you pricing apps, if you like, in AI. So, for example, for plumbing and heating engineers, we've got a boiler quoting tool that allows you to quote your jobs there and then inside a customer's house without even having to leave. That then turns that into a stunning PDF-looking proposal. You can email and text it straight to the customer. The customer can look at it. You can ask them if they want to proceed. You can turn your mobile phone into a card machine and take the deposit there and then. That's the point we need to get to. So you need to make sure that before you leave, if it's possible, you give them a budget figure or you give them the correct figure. You explain to them what your payment terms are, i.e. we take a deposit to book the job in and secure the job so we can purchase materials and book the labour in, and then we have interim payments at these stages. You need to explain to the customer how you work and what the terms of your business are, because they're not mind readers. They don't know this is how you work, and you can't just expect them to miraculously understand your sales process, can you? So before you leave, you tell them a budget figure, you tell them what would happen if they wanted to proceed, and then before you leave, you actually ask for the business. And I'm still staggered in today's day and age whereby people are terrified of asking the customer if they want to go ahead. And a simple closing question would be, once you've done all that, I would say to Mrs. Jones, so Mrs. Jones, do you have any other questions? No, you've answered everything, Craig. You've been great. You've told us a budget figure. You've told us your payment terms and when you can start. And I go, great. How would you like to proceed? And then I shut up. And then the ball's back in their court. How would you like to proceed? Now, that's not pushy. It's not sleazy. I'm just asking you, how would you like to proceed? And you've got a right to ask that. You've given up your time to go out and see that customer and client. So you've got a right to ask for the business. And many times they'll go, well, what do I need to do next? And you'll say, well, you just need to pay a deposit. Well, how do I do that? Well, we can do that now. Turn my card into a card reader. Let's take your deposit and let's get you booked in. They might say, well, I need to speak to my husband before I give you a decision. That's okay. I understand that. So when would be the best time to give you a quick follow-up call to answer any other questions that you or your husband might be, and just to see how you'd like to proceed? So that, in short, is what you need to be doing to get your conversion rates up. Now, don't forget, episode 77, you've got an hour and 14 minutes of pure training that will go into this in a lot more context and detail. But I'm telling you, if you were to slightly change what you do and you say at different times, these leads that you're going to start to generate are going to be turning into jobs. Why? Because now you're learning how to become a proper salesperson and not just a tradesman that's winging it with a bit of gift and gab that you've picked up over time. And the final tip I'm going to give you when it comes to sales is this. Please tell me that you are making follow-up calls. Because not every customer is going to be able to proceed there and then. For example, if you are a builder and you're looking at a 250 grand extension, yeah, you might be able to give them a budget figure. It's going to be between 200 and 250,000. But let's face it, they're not going to pay a deposit at that point, are they? There's a lot more information they're going to need. They might have to remortgage their house. There's a lot more that needs to be done. But if you're a plasterer going out and looking at somebody's bedroom ceiling that wants skimming, or a heating engineer who's fitting boilers, or an electrician who's changing a consumer unit, all of that lot can be done there and then, in the moment. But what I would say is, if they don't proceed for whatever reason at that point, that's fine. We're not pushing anyone. We're just simply saying, do you want to proceed at this stage? And if they say no, we have to make a follow-up call. Because if you don't make the follow-up call, I guarantee that you're going to be leaving money on the table. Seriously. And years ago, when I were naive to sales, I used to have this terrible mindset, really, of thinking, do you know what? I've got loads of work on, which we had. We were always busy. Why? Because we nailed us marketing content. But I'd be like this. Do you know what? I'll go and give him a price. So in other words, I'll go and waste God knows how many hours of my time surveying jobs, doing price, sending it out. I'll go and do all that, but I'm not following it up. If they want to use me, they can ring me. I'm not grovelling. I'm not chasing work. I'm busy enough as it is. Why should I have to grovel and chase work and ring people up? Well, I'm not begging for work. So therefore, I didn't make follow-up calls. It's only when I started having sales training when people said to me, my sales trainers, look, you're mad. You're leaving money on the table here. But underneath it all, I think the reason why I didn't make follow-up calls is because I was scared of rejection, if I'm honest. I was scared of people saying no, people saying we've gone somewhere else and being a bit abrupt with me on phone, or people slamming phone down at me. Because when I've had cold calls in the past, that's what's happened to me, or that's what I've done to other people. Cold call, don't even know who you are. I just put phone down. And I used to think that were going to happen to me. And honestly, I kid you not, one of the very first follow-up calls I ever made back in 2013, I rang them up and I was like, oh, I'm a bit, see how this goes. Plucked up courage, rung them up. And this is what I got. Oh, Craig, we've been meaning to ring you. Really? Yeah, we've just been busy. We've got a lot on, kids are at football and gymnastics and, my mum's not being well or whatever. We've been meaning to ring you. We're glad you've rung. We want to go ahead. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, we want to go ahead. What do we do next? I never, ever, and I still don't think in all these years I've ever had somebody F and Jeff at me down phone or slamp phone down. Might have had a few people go, hey, listen, mate, thanks for coming out, but just to let you know, we've got a cheaper quote and we've gone somewhere else. So we're not going ahead. Is that all right? And they're quite firm, but they're not rude. Nobody swore at me. Nobody's made me feel like I've been pushy or sleazy. It's just simply been, most of the time, it's a yes. That's because you've done the job properly. That's because you've vetted your leads. You've put that video in introducing yourself. You've been incredibly professional on that survey. You've answered all the questions that customer wanted answering and more. You've explained what your process is moving forward in terms of budget figures, timescales. You're going to have to pay a deposit. These are our payment terms. So they're fully aware of everything that you want to do. And when you do all this and you tick all them boxes, I am telling you now, your sales are going to go through roof. They can't not go through roof. So all you need to do is start to generate more leads by creating better and more content, learn how to turn them leads into customers, and that is when your business is going to start to grow and start to take off. So here are your action tasks from this episode. Number 1, go back through the 5 different content creation ideas that I've given you. And it'd be great if you could start them all in a oneer. But let's be realistic. Some of this is going to take a little bit of time. So instead of overwhelming yourself and you're setting yourself up for failure from day one, why don't you just choose and commit now to doing 2 of the 5 strategies that I've shared with you, and make a start on them and get them into your business and get them working, right? And then once you've done that, you can bolt the other 3 on. But I want you to commit to 2. Then what I want you to do is consider what I've been saying about the sales strategy side of it. Because in reality, once you've got a vetting form built and once you've got a sales funnel and pipeline built, that's all the, let's say, investment of money and time that goes into a sales pipeline. The rest of it is literally behavior. You're just changing what you say and what you do at different times and the different communication you're having with your customer. So nothing's going to really change with that once your vetting form and your funnel's built. All you need to do is say different things. What comes out your mouth is something different. So that you can make a start on now, can't you? You know, the next time you go out and survey a job, even if you haven't got any automation built in that's going to trigger an email and a text with a video, why don't you just record a generic video thanking that customer, a generic one, so don't name them, just do a generic one, and just start off with WhatsApping that to every customer. If you've got to manually just send it, it's only going to take you a minute, innit? Find the video, send it and forward it to the customer with a nice message. That in itself is going to take you to a whole new level. So, you know, how long is it going to take you to record that video? Couple of hours if it takes you 10 attempts like it does for me, then it might take you a couple of hours. But once you've got it forever. Are you with me? So I need you to make a commitment and a start to working on your content and working on different areas of this sales process. Now, if you're serious about wanting more hand-holding with all this and you want to learn more proven strategies and be part of a community of professional tradesmen and women that are all helping and supporting each other to do this, please consider joining our Growth Club. Because inside our Growth Club, you're going to get live weekly coaching and training with me and my team online via Zoom. You're going to have accountability to make sure you give yourself a kick up the arse and get this done. You've got access to over 100 pre-recorded video trainings to help you in every area of your business. And all that's literally waiting for you. You can get instant access to that immediately. If you are interested and you want to consider it, please click the link in the description and show notes of this episode that says Growth Club. And if you're not quite ready for that level of coaching and accountability just yet, that's fine. We can still help and support you inside our free Facebook group and community. Again, if you want to join that, please click the link in the show notes and description. Come into our community, come and introduce yourself. Tell me that you're listening to our podcast and we'll gladly give you as much help and support as we can. And remember, the business is never the problem The problem is always the mindset of the business owner. I'll catch up with you on next week's episode, and I'll meet you all at the top. Thank you.